Hey, it's Dennis from Fright Matinee, and after reviewing a couple films and getting the film aspect of the channel done and over with, I thought, why not I do it with the video game aspect? You know, why not just start the video game aspect right now? And honestly, I might as well. But here's the twist. It'll be a very good movie-based game. Now, you don't really see a lot of good movie-based games here, but this one, Goldeneye 007, is a very, very good example of one, and it's just special. And here's why I think it's so good.
Now, to be truthful, I never really got into James Bond all that much. It just really isn't my cup of tea, and what's funny is I'm a huge fan of action films. But don't get me wrong, I do love the Sean Connery James Bond films, and I certainly am impressed by how many installments there are in the franchise, but it just never clicked to me. There have been really good James Bond films, and some, moving on. However, in terms of video games, James Bond is practically surprisingly essential to not only me, but many other people as well. Okay, to get this out of the way, I absolutely love this game, and I love Bond games, but this one was really revolutionary. When it came out, first-person shooters were already a fairly big craze with games like Doom, but GoldenEye 007 was just really revolutionary in its own right. It's based on the Bond film of the same name, which revolved around a satellite that can destroy the world, which is now in the hands of one of Bond's former closest allies, now enemy, Alec. But back to the game.
Now, admittedly, with the N64 controller, I had to get used to the controls, but once I nailed them down, the gameplay becomes a hell of a lot easier, even on the most difficult of modes, really.
The enemies are actually pretty intelligent, and the plot is great. It does have a lot of Cold War elements, but I think that adds on to the game's charm. The weapon choice is fairly small, but effective, and the missions, for its time, are pretty sophisticated. This game was awarded Game of the Year from 1997 to 1998. And all I can say is, it is well deserved, that's for sure. To add on to the game as revolutionary statement, it was one of the first-person shooter games to put an emphasis on stealth and avoiding alarms and cameras becoming something of a particular necessity. Shooting the guns out of enemies' hands and having only a few bullets kill them gives me and other players some excitement while playing, and I can't mention this game without mentioning the brilliance that is the soundtrack to this game. What I also love about the game is the replay value. That, along with the fact that you can go back and replay missions, is a great testament to how great this game is, and you didn't really see a lot of that in the 1990s.
It honestly feels like I'm playing a James Bond movie, and really, how can you go wrong there? I mean, come on.
Here are some of my nitpicks, though. The game is extremely objective, meaning there really isn't any checkpoints, and if you know you will die over and over again while playing, then you might as well expect to play the missions over and over again until you finally complete all the tasks and kill, bypass, or even karate chop enemies while you're at it. Another problem I have with the game is the fact that whenever you're shot, you are immediately pushed back. Now, I know a lot of people probably haven't done this, but I threw one of those damn landmines next to a group of enemies and wanted so desperately to shoot it and have all the enemies killed, and I didn't care if I died as a result. I just wanted to see the thing blow up so I could see the cool effect. But I couldn't, because since they kept shooting at me, I kept getting pushed back.
Now, besides all these nitpicks I'm making, there's a really good reason why so many people are still talking about this game 20 years later. Yeah, exactly 20 years. This game came out in 1997, it's 2017 now.
It was pretty groundbreaking, and impacted not only gamers but the video game industry as well, and it had things that games like Doom didn't really have, and I love Doom to death. I highly recommend it if you have an N64, but if you don't, I say don't bother, because it's a game that you can end up really liking, and it's a game that you can end up finding mediocre if you were already exposed to and played modern first-person shooter games throughout your life. But, one thing's for sure, it'll make you James Bond.
Wait, what?